It's the Chris Brecht State Farm Insurance Coaches Show here on 1360 WOW. I'm Matt Jarvie, along with me, Coach Rocco DeBrand. Coach, thanks for coming in.
Oh, great being here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and we, of course, this is week 5 already. We're zipping right along here with the season and everything. Ran into a pretty good Edgewood team. You were right. They were markedly improved over last year. Winchell and Bisbee, I think, gave you guys everything you had to deal with.
Absolutely. They had a good scheme offensively. Winchell's just a great player. You know, you can tell he's put time in the offseason to make himself a better player. And then they have a lot of good receivers out there that they can sling the ball around. But when our guys were getting to Winchell, but they couldn't catch him once they got to him. And him being so shifty back there, he was able to find some open receivers, late in the play. And you can only cover guys for so long before they find an opening. And they did a good job of executing that. And, at the end of the day, though, I think our defense did a good job of not giving up the touchdowns, only giving up 13 points against such an explosive offense.
Right.
I know we shut them down twice, I think, inside the 10.
Absolutely.
Where, once they got close to the end zone, they had a little tougher time with that wide-open passing game. And overall, we did stop the run pretty good. They got a couple good runs here or there, but overall, I think they did a good job versus the run.
Yeah, I thought defense did a really nice job against them because you could tell they had an experienced bunch out there. Had some seniors that were seasoned. They knew their positions pretty well, and you guys prevailed over them to get the win.
Absolutely, and that's what I like the fact that we started off going kind of good, but then we didn't put the ball in the end zone either. We had 2 interceptions early, and we were moving the ball early, but then we kind of stalled and we lost Nick Osborne there right before the half, our center, and we went into that second or third quarter, a little banged up, and we lost Coleman early in the game, and but then the next guy in, those kids ended up playing hard and doing enough to when it came crunch time, and I know the only second half touchdown we got was that punt over the snap over the punter's head, and we picked it up and scored. But at the end of the game, when we needed to put it away and kill the clock, we ended up getting a big 50-yard run by Zach Rice. But that was also a tribute to the linemen up front, who again were backups, and they kept fighting until the end. They didn't ever give up or quit just because we had a couple of our starting linemen out of the game.
Absolutely, yeah. I noticed that too as well. It was tough keeping that big defensive line out of the backfield for you guys, but they prevailed and they kept trying, and it was really at a matter of a couple of seconds to get something put together and get it executed because they're coming and they're going to be in the backfield before too long, right?
Absolutely, and that's kind of when we did switch a little bit to the passing game, which was successful all night. I know Jake Slade had his best night so far, 270 yards passing, and Tellis had 6 catches for 203 yards, and I think that's the most by a receiver since I've been here the last 10 years.
Right.
I know back when Gertie's played, he got in the 180s one time.
Yeah.
But it was a great night by Tellis and in the receiving corps, and again Jake Slade, and those guys came in and did a good job pass blocking up front. So we did have some success in that area, and that was nice to see.
Yeah, I think you're right. Jake really settled down because he had a rough week the week before, but he settled down. He got a lot done in that game. Tellis, of course, was the Dairy Queen player of the game. What a just outstanding performance. But Zach Rice, too, he was a real workhorse for you on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely. He's just a young kid, and I know he gets frustrated in the backfield because he's such a good running back, but with a banged-up line, sometimes he gets hit in the backfield and whatever. But he just keeps chugging, and it was nice to see that 50-yard touchdown win to clinch the game, or that touchdown run to clinch the game. But his play on defense as a sophomore is amazing. I feel like this year, not just this game, every big fourth down stop we've had, he's been a part of. He knocked that ball down in the end zone on 4th and 4 in the first quarter. They had another fourth down, their very first drive. After the interception, they had a first down inside their own 15. It was 4th and 2, and he came and got a minus. And he's been playing that way all year long. He's just a great player.
Yes, absolutely, and kudos to the defensive line too. I thought they did a great job for you guys too through the end of the game. Really held on. Moving on now, we got Beechwood. don't know a whole lot about them. Have you ever gone up against them before?
No, not since I've been here. We've done some past scrimmages against them, but we haven't played them. I believe they played them like the year before I came here, so it'd be about 11 years. But I remember them like when I first came here. I remember looking at their old schedule, and I think they were on it. But just watching them on film, they're a very athletic team. They got a great quarterback who can throw and run, and some good receivers.
That's at number 8.
Number 1's their quarterback.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, number 1. I think his name's Minter. And then his brother Minter, number 9. But they got a good tailback, some good receivers, and they got some big boys up front.
Yeah, they
really do. They got some big kids. But they got a little bit of a late start. This is only their 3rd game.
Right.
So hopefully conditioning-wise that helps us out a little bit, But they're definitely a good, solid team, and they can definitely move the ball offensively.
Now, when we got picked up to fill this game for Girard, and I thought that was interesting for a minute. We're talking about Girard, how do you know what prompted that when they ended up kind of splitting off and forming these different seasons where each team picked up 3 opponents and they play each of them twice? That's what like mini pod seasons over there. There's only 4 teams playing each other through the whole season. They play each other twice. I think it was to kind of isolate them so they're not playing all kinds of different other teams.
That's what they did. And they made that decision to even do that, not till we were like a game or 2 into our season. PA just decided to do that late. So we were kind of holding off on week 5 to see if we can play a Pennsylvania school since we're in the league. And then once they came out with their schedules, they were all filled. So we just had to wait for an opening, and this opportunity came up. And and I think it's a good down the road. We kind of wouldn't mind being in the CVC,
right,
or part of that under the umbrella of the CVC. Along with Lakeside and Edgewood and Geneva and
nice
Valley.
League. Nice
so
league.
Us and Jefferson, I think would be a good fit there. So playing some of these teams that are in the CVC like Beechwood and West G, ain't a bad thing for us. To maybe get our foot in the door.
Yeah, and they were going to play Kirkland. Kirkland ended up bowing out for schedule reasons or whatever, and we filled that spot.
Yeah, I think they had an opportunity to play Solon, and obviously, Kirkland's just a great program. And I think they wanted to really challenge themselves with a really bit like a big school like Solon, and just get their guys ready for the playoffs. And so I think when they found out we had an opening, maybe they can fill our need and Solon's need, because Solon needed a game, we needed a game. But they're much too big for us. Solon's much too big for us. So I think Kirtland's like, we'll play Solon. You guys can play Beechwood and make that work. So.
Well, it's going to be nice. It's a great facility there. I was impressed with that when I looked at it online. Their field is a sunken field, kind of like Fairview. And when you walk to the broadcast booth, it's all level with the school. So you walk from the parking lot, level over to it, and go into the broadcast booth, and the field's sunken down in. But a good-looking facility there. Just it's a great neighborhood, top-notch school. So it's going to be, I think, a great experience being there. And it's on turf, too. First time for the year on turf for the guys, right?
Second time, yeah.
Oh, second time.
Yeah. We played, JFK was on turf.
Oh, that's right. That was turf, too.
Yep. But, that's exactly what I saw. I've never been there. When I watch film, I'm like, you could tell it's definitely a nice stadium. So our kids always enjoy those atmospheres. If you're going to play away, it's nice to have a good experience. So no matter what happens, it should be a good experience tonight.
Hopefully that'll help Jake Noons and Mandagello with that artificial turf. Those little quick guys can maybe get some footing and get some yardage going.
Yeah, let's hope so. Anything that can help us, right?
With a banged up line, is your plan to probably try to execute real quickly? Get something going right off the snap as fast as you can?
Yeah, getting the ball in space is always a good thing. And, like you said, it's a backup line. They're going to do the best we can. Pass blocking sometimes easier, so maybe we sling the ball around a little bit or just try to get to the ball to the edges and let our receivers block and that kind of thing. But I think overall we need to have a big defensive night, and the defense has to continue to do what they've done the first 4 weeks and just cause turnovers and give the offense easier opportunities to score.
Well said, Coach. Hey, great win over Edgewood, and the best of luck here tonight in Beechwood.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, this has been the Chris Brecht State Farm Insurance Coaches Show on 1360 WOW. Up next, Beechwood versus Conneaut here in Beechwood, Ohio on 1360 WOW.